Hello children, we are here with data visualization of Python. We finished learning how to plot the graphs or the charts using scatter option and line option. Now we will see how to plot the chart using the bar style, that is a bar graph. Now you might have all seen a bar graph already. Now what is that? That's a rectangular bar with heights or length proportional to the values that they represent. So we will see one kind of a bar chart. There are so many different styles, varieties. We will see one by one and explore more on that. Okay. So I'm going to take my first example on bar chart. A simple one I have taken. Every function in this pyplot always have two what you call as a mandatory argument. That will be your x-axis and y-axis measurement values. The other arguments are optional. That goes the same with the bar chart also, or a bar graph also. Okay, so let's start. What is this first one? That's a list, correct? Data. I'm actually planning to put the number of students in 11A, 11B, 11C, 11D and 11E. So I have two different lists consisting of the number of students and the class name. I am not putting the class as CLASs. As you can see, if I try to put that, that's a keyword. Say the style change. That's why I made it as CLAS. Okay. So class is a keyword in Python. So two lists are there, and what you can see is the next statement is your function which help us to plot a bar graph. So the first two arguments, class and data, that very clearly represent what you wanted to see as your x and y axis. So your class, that is your x, that represents that values which is there in your x coordinates. That is, you have to align that is left or center. It is by default in the left side. That you will see later. That is, you can align the placement of this graph as left alignment or center alignment. Later we will see. Okay. And the next one is your data. That is your y-axis. Here we will not call it as y-axis. We call it as height. Okay, that is it's a sequence of characters or values representing the height of the bars. Now the third argument, which you all know, that is your color, that we have seen in a line graph. So I'm not going further about it. There are so many other optional arguments. We will see one by one in these examples. So let's run this and see how this comes. Okay, this is your first bar chart. You can see 11A, 11B, 11C became your x-axis, and this side that is your measurement of your number of students, that is automatically plotted by the Python's pyplot, and where exactly the number of students are standing, that is been specified over here. You can see 11A's value, which is, if I just open it and show you once again, 11A's value is 23, somewhere over here. 11B is 45, see, 11B is 56, 11D is having the highest, 78. So the y-axis plotted values are being defined here, and this measurement is automatically happening. Okay, so this is your first graph, bar graph. Okay, I will make some changes. Now, if you wanted to see by default what is a color, you might have already guessed it, because I think I showed that in the line graph. If not, this is it. By default, the color is blue. Okay. Now, along with this example, I am going to introduce to you one new argument. I just kill this and then goes. Okay, no. So one new argument. That is why I have written here alpha without if I am forgetting, I should remember. It is why I put it as comment. So I am going to add again color. You can write simply. Remember the third argument of the line graph. We were simply putting it as green, G, etc. You can even put it like that here. I am mentioning it as color so that you will remember it. It should be in quotes. You can put any color you want, which is available in the color characters. Okay, and now comes the new argument which I told I will do. Now, by default, alpha equal to 1 or alpha is set to 1. Now, what is this alpha? Alpha is a argument, is actually present in even in the line graph or any other graphs which you are going to study, which will allow you to set the transparency of your chart. That means the bar or the line which you are displaying, how much clarity you require for that can be specified here. So by default, you already ran this once. So if I am putting that alpha equal to 1, you will see the same graph. Okay, let me run this. The same green. Okay, now I'll close this. Even if I'm not closing, it will be when you again run, it will automatically get closed. I'm going to make it as 0.25. You should tell me what is the change you are going to see. Okay, what is it? Yeah, you might have already watched and guessed the color has diminished. That means if you specify a number less than 1, the transparency or the clarity of the bar which is plotted over here will be minimized or diminished. But if you write more than 1, no error will come. I have tried that, but I couldn't see a beautiful graphs displayed. So 1 is a maximum limit. So I'll just show you by trying it out, like by specifying 2. Here one, yeah. See here one error came. Earlier we tried to put it as 2. Here error came. So thank you for reminding. Like I just thought error won't come. Here error came. But in the examples given in our different textbooks and all, what they are saying is, even if I specify it as 2, there won't be any problem, but the display won't be very good. So maybe my version is 3.7. The new versions onwards, it is not accepting that. The older version might have been accepting the 2 also. So the default value is set to 1. So it's good that we tried with 2. So don't try, or if you try in your system, if it is working, do let me know. Otherwise, with 1, you have to be very clear that that's your maximum, highest clarity or the transparency, or you can show. And less than that, any value can be given. If you give 0.1, I don't think the display will even come. We'll just try that also and then move on. Yeah, that's it. You can see, can you see? Yeah, can't see, but still there is something over there. So yes, so that's it. So depending upon your wish, you can increase the transparency. So it's totally up to you. That's a, see, diminished. I mean like increased from your 0.1 because I given 0.9. So try to give and see whether any other value after 1, it is greater than 1, 1.1, 1.2 is working or not. It may not, because all our systems are having 3.7. So if it is not working in mine, it may not work in yours also. But if you check with tutorialspoint.com or that W3 resources, they say you can give numbers greater than 1. But it's fine. If it is not working, then we don't have to worry about it. So that's regarding your first example, where we learned how to plot your bar graph without any other new arguments. Only one, that is our alpha, which explains or allows you to increase or decrease the transparency of the plotted graph, which can be used with your scatter graph or your line graph. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next example. Okay, so let me just check. Yes, we will go for this. Now I will not minimize, I'll put this as comment here and I will open this for you. Okay, now I have this time 2 other lists, language and students. again the different languages which I have learned, and then number of students whom I've been teaching. That is the way I have planned it, and I'm plotting that in a bar graph. Now the first one which I have just now uncommented, this statement, okay, this statement is again showing language students. If I want, I can specify the color also. Okay, I can specify the color, red if you want, and width is the new argument specified over here. This is commented, don't look into that right now, we will be talking about it. I am specifying my X label, which is my language. So X label I'm going to change to language. So I will tell you why I have written like this once I finish writing this. So I am putting it as language, and the other one it is students or opted students, or the strength, whichever way you want you can say. So this is my normal one. So the new argument uses width. So you might have again guessed what is width. That specifies your size, the width of your bar, and the default is 0.8. Okay, so let's run this. Yeah, this is it. So I had given the width as 0.5, so the width came like that. Oh, 1 minute, I just put this anyway, I forgot, so I'm going to just put this, and then I'm going to close this. Yes, and let me just close this also, because I'm going to just open it once again. We are back with this our code coding. Once again, you see the students opted came in which section? Y label. See, Y label, because I've given there Y label. That is the same as what we saw in our line graph. The x-axis label is language, no change in that, and the color is red. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is how to display the same graph which you just saw in the opposite manner. That means we just saw it in the vertical style. Now can I plot the graph in your horizontal manner? Yes, the answer is yes. And the function used is bar h. It is bar horizontal. This time you specify your language students. Color is equal to green, everything as usual. And you are specifying here Y label as students object. I didn't change, okay, I'm just having it same as it is, and you run the program. Okay, yeah, it's by default green because I didn't specify the color. I think, no, I specified as green. Yes, now see here the label is language, and here it is students object. Actually it became horizontal, so it is our duty when you make a horizontal graph to make it just to change the labels accordingly. Otherwise it will be displayed like this, no error will come, but this gives a small logical instability, correct? No, so this side you should have language, and this side you should have students opted. So for that we need to interchange it. There is nothing wrong in if you write no error is coming, as you already saw, but I'm changing, so you have to change. So even though you have given your x-axis as language, since it is horizontally displayed, the label should be changed accordingly. So this is it. So now the language side, this came, students object, this came. So the second example of today, what do you do? What did you learn? You learned how to specify your bar graph horizontally and how to set the width. So you can set the width wherever you want. Here also if you want you can set the width, but since we already saw there, we are not trying it again. So the second example is over. So the first example, we tried to use a new argument called as alpha, which allows you to set the transparency. The second example, we tried to plot the graph in vertical as well as horizontal manner. We also had a new argument called as width, which you have seen earlier. Now let's move on to the next one, next example. Okay. Yes, you have here. Now since you know alpha, it is easy for me to explain. I have 3 sections, okay? You saw this, the first statement, the same example only. So class data color is given green, alpha is 0.9, so the transparency of this one is 0.9. Now, that is 1 less than the original transparency, the default transparency. Now the next one is plt.grid, okay? Now, grid, as you can guess, it will help us to display the grids on your graph. So I have given the grids for x-axis and y-axis with a specified color, and LS, you remember line style, it's given as dotted here because I have given 2 hyphens, hyphen, okay? If you give single dot, it's solid, remember, dotted, dash dot, etc. The same options is given here in grid. So the grid is a new function, help us to specify grids in your bar graph, and axis, which is helping us to specify in which axis you need the grid. If you need the grid only in one axis, you need to give it only in one. But here I wanted to show you that you can give it in both the axes. So axis equal to y. So y axis you will specify your color in red. So the grid color comes in red, and alpha is 0.6. And that is a little bit less than the original one. If you make it as 0.5, it will again get diminished. And the grid for the x-axis is specified as color is blue with LS same way, and alpha is 0.6. So let me run this and show you the grid. Okay, so you saw the grids, x-axis with blue and y-axis with red. 2 dots are there, see, dot dot, hyphen hyphen as given. So that's the way you are specifying. So here I'm just going to show you, I'll just put this as comment, okay, and I will not specify any axis, okay, and alpha is here. You saw that if I am not specifying, you will see your corresponding grids in both the axes with the color red, because that's the way I have given. So if you specifically specify the axis can be specified with y or x, as you already saw. Otherwise, without specifying the axis, it will display the grid in both x-axis and y-axis with the same color. So that's it. With your third example, what did you learn? You can actually put grids in your bar graph. So we are moving slowly so that you can try out one by one, or you can put it together when you try it out. So the grid can be given for x as well as y axis with these kind of alignments, like specifications. Alignment is not been taught right now, we will see later. Alignment, when I say, I'm talking about the bar graphs alignment, okay, not the grid alignment. Grid alignment is this much. I have to see whether more arguments are there in grid. This is a basic argument which I saw. And alpha is definitely optional. And line style, if it is not given, you know, it will come in what style? It will come in your solid style. By default, the line style is solid, so it will display in the solid style. So let's try that also, because I told you that much. So I'm just going to try without anything. So you saw it. Okay, now it's coming by default in white in color. The grids are there. That's how it is displayed. So let me put it back. So no arguments are mandatory in your grid. All the arguments are optional. Enough. Yeah, the other one. One more is there, no? Our axis. Otherwise, when I copy it into your note, it will be difficult for me to remember the changes I have made. So let me show you that your grid is not having any mandatory argument. The grid can be given without any arguments, and still it works with white in color. And then if you want to specify, change the color, you can use it with color. LS line style, otherwise solid style will come, and the alpha is by default, as you already saw, it's 1. Okay, otherwise we can specify it like this. Now let's move on to the next example over here, and that is your this one. Okay, and then I'll move on to the last one. Yeah, I have given just to make sure that you see what is your x coordinate and y coordinate here. So again, your height and left. This is actually the number of people whose heights are taken. It's like the series number, okay? This is to show that where is it coming. So I am going to give one extra thing. So you have two lists actually, left and height. That is specified in your bar graph as your x and height or x and y axis. So I'll just delete this for the time being. There is a list called as tick_1, but right now it's been taken out or it's deleted. Width is 1, color is red green. I have given this time a combination. Now what happens, you can just make a guesswork. Red, one bar if it alternatively it will come. One bar if it is red, the second next bar will be green. So alternate bars will be coming. X label, Y axis, X label, Y label you already know. Title you already know. You can remember, you can even give the font and size and all. All these you can try. And here comes your grid. So the difference, yes. Now I am going to see, this is your number x axis, see 1 2 3 4 5, and this is 605, that is your height. Okay, came together. Now the change which I made, okay, I am putting it back. Ticket label equal to tick_L. Tick_L is my name, that label. Now for the corresponding x-axis where it was 1 2 3 4 5, if you give tick_label, your label will be changed to what you have given. Now let's see. Okay, run the program again, and this is it. You saw the change, 1 2 3 4 5, that's changed to the number or the word name which you have given in your tick_label. You saw that? So that's coming here. Now width I can change it to 0.25, and then if you run the program, yeah, this is it. You saw that? So that's it. You can increase the width or decrease the width. 1 is again default value. I didn't check whether I can give more than 1. You can try it and see what will happen. Did I check that earlier? If it is coming or not? Okay, I'll just try here. Yeah, it is coming, but see the way it's coming, it's very difficult to float it properly. So you basically restrict with your, 1, like we restrict with alpha. Alpha is the one which is showing error. Here no error king, but it is display is not that, to very good or soothing for the eyes. So we will put it back to what we just tried. So it was 1 in the beginning. I changed to 0.25. You can change to any number you want less than 1, so that the display will be having more clarity. So that's it. So what did you learn in this example? Graph is here. Let me take the graph also and keep it along with this, so you understand it. We can always plot a graph with list. Remember, list is the most basic example. We can always plot the graphs of whatever we are learning with the list, and then what we learned, our dictionary, and then of course our DRS series or data frame. You can plot with any of these things because it is a simple one, and this particular chapter does not require data frame. I thought I will start with list, simple example, and then at the end if you put it back to data frame, it will be easy for you to work it out. That is why I am showing you with list. Okay, so 2 list, 1 more extra list here for putting a label. That means apart from the normal label which will come for the x-axis, you can change the label over here. The other side measurement will be always the same because we need some kind of numerical values in the height, or in the y-axis we need a numerical values in it. So we will specify always like that. But in the x-axis, if you want, you can change the values like this. So from 1 2 3 4 5 I changed to 1 2 3. Even directly you can give 1 2 3 4 5 there, which I didn't show you, but you can guess that you can give 1 2 3 4 5. directly also, but other than that, another option is there to rename the x-axis using this option, and we try to change the width and show that, and then when we try to give the color with combinations, yes, that's also working. So red, green, blue, if you want to try, if you have more values in it, or any other combination of your wish. So that's with your next example. Now let's move on to the last of its kind. So what you have is, 1 minute, I'm just taking the next one. Yeah, this all of a sudden, if you are not able to understand also, no worries at all, because we have time to understand it. So we will be explaining once again with another example in the next session. Okay, this is the last example of this session. So what you have is your test 1, test 2. So two measurements are there. So some of you might have guessed, if two measurements are there, I am planning to plot multiple bars in one graph. So you have here the name. See, directly I am specifying the name there. I am trying to specify, I did that with this one, and then you have your roll number. Okay, I didn't change it to tick color, tick label. No, I have given a tick label, so no problem. I tried this first with specifying with name directly. Okay, then only I changed it, because my idea was to plot the multiple bars. If multiple bars are not there, and if you're just plotting one test, then you don't have to give this roll number and all what I'm going to explain it. Just this is enough. But since we have two bars, or two different bars are going to be displayed, I am going to specify something like this. Before I explain, let me run this program. Two test papers marks are being displayed here. See, over here you have two test papers mark, and you have name and your name came here. See, SMNE, and test 1, test 2, test 3. Test 3 is not there, and you have test 1 and test 2. Those marks are specified very clearly with the help of this bar graph. First one is 45, second one is 56, then you have 67, then you have 66, and so on. Then what is that I have done here? Okay, I specify the roll number with the help of arrange. Now, in order to plot multiple graphs, you cannot put your x-axis in a list. If you put the list style of x-axis, like the name is your x-axis actually, isn't it? But that won't work with your multiple plotting. So we need a numerical value. So in order to get a numerical value, better we go for a roll number which ranges from 1 to 7. Again, list of numerical values is also not possible. So we need to give numbers, with which the best way to create numbers of series is use your numpy. So my default width is specified as 0.25. And I am plotting. So the first time x-axis is roll number, test 1, width is 0.25, color is red, tick underscore label I have specified in one bar as name. So this will come instead of roll number. If I am not specifying tick underscore label, it will be the corresponding roll number itself. Then the next bar, because the second bar or second plotting is to be done, I am adding my width of 0.25 and concatenating with roll number. So the second concatenation or second bar, when you are plotting, it will just get attached. The first bar will get attached with the second bar, and the corresponding same width is specified there also. If you want, you can increase the width over here. Like you can change the width to some other style, 0.235. You can change width equal to 0.25. Okay, equal to 0.35, color equal to green. So see, the first width is 0.25. It got concatenated with the second bar, and that width is specified it as 0.35. So this is how you plot multiple bars within one graph. So this is the example. Go through it. Whether you understood or not, you keep it in mind. You remember what I told. If you are plotting multiple bars, you should not have a list of numerical values to concatenate. You require a set of numbers. basically numbers with a range. This is the one which gives you number. Otherwise, we have to specify in the list the data type as int. So you can try it out. When I get more example or any other exceptional work is there inside this, I'll come with that also. For the time being, thank you and try it out. We will again give more example on multiple plotting. Okay? Thank you very much.